Hey everyone, and welcome back to Art a la Carte. Yes, my hair is very pink today. So this is episode 3 of Color Pencils 101. Have you ever noticed when you color a spot with color pencils how even though you're getting the color, like I'm getting this color of red, there's these little white spots that poke through? Why is that? Well, to understand how to use color pencils, you have to understand how color pencils relate to paper. If we were to look really carefully at paper, like get up super duper close to paper and take a peek, you would notice that paper is not absolutely smooth. Even your smoothest paper is going to have a little bit of texture to it. If you magnify it really big, you're going to see that paper actually consists of these like valleys and mountains. And as you color across it, the color from your color pencils or crayons will attach to the top part of the mountains, but it's not getting down into the valleys. So these white spots that you're seeing right here are actually the little valley spots on your paper. So if you just color with normal pressure, you're not getting down into those. To get those white spots to be filled in with color, you're going to need to use a lot of pressure to get your color down into those valleys of your paper, to apply that down in there. And depending on how much texture is in your paper, it's going to sometimes require a lot of pressure. So on this paper, even though it's not really very textured, it's kind of a smoother paper, you can see that there's still these places that don't have as much color as the top, and it just takes going back over and over and over and over and over again. After you've gone back and used a lot of pressure with your pencil and you've filled in all of that color, you've flattened it out, there's no valleys, there's no mountains, there's just the plateau of color. This is what we call burnishing. The color is burnished down on there. You're going to get this really shiny part of your paper. There are times that you're going to want a burnished look, and there's times you're going to actually want this kind of fuzzy look. And we'll get into talking about those in a little bit. You don't want to burnish everything, and you don't want to burnish right away, because if you want to take another color and put it over top of this to kind of create some dimension, you see how nice and easily this goes with very little pressure. I'm applying this blue over top of the red very easily, but to apply it over the burnish is not going in as smoothly. It'll go, but it's not blending. You're not getting that blended look. So when you burnish something, you're making it a little bit more difficult to then apply more color on top. So you want to make sure that all of your color is there first, everything you want first, before you start really digging in there and burnishing. Using these two techniques in the right places is really what's going to help you to create a more professional looking picture and be able to capture a little bit more realism with your color pencils. In different parts of upcoming tutorials, I'm going to be talking about places that you need to burnish and places that you need just to kind of leave a fuzz, and so you'll know the difference between the two of those. If you watched my Watercolor 101 video tutorial series, then you will have seen the video I did on how to create a gradient. And that's where you take one shade of color and you get the full variety from your pencil. Because using your color pencil as just one shade, this one here is called Copenhagen Blue, and by using just normal pressure, this is the shade that I get. Now if I only ever use this pencil to create this shade, I'm limiting myself greatly on the possibilities that this one pencil has to offer me. So you want to be able to learn how to use it as a gradient. By applying different pressure to your pencil, you're going to get a different shade. So you can see here, this is all normal pressure, but as I go down this way, I'm starting to use less and less pressure, and it's starting to go from a darker Copenhagen blue to a lighter and then into white. Where over here, if I apply some really strong pressure and start burnishing that out, I'm getting a different shade from this Copenhagen blue, a nice dark and solid color. So from this one pencil, by using different pressures, I'm getting a ton of different tones or values from this one picture. So starting with dark, going into medium, to normal, to light, to very, very, well, white. This is one of the many important things that you'll have to master if you really want to be proficient in color pencil work, is being able to get that gradient. So I recommend getting a piece of paper and just drawing out some smaller boxes. Don't make gigantic boxes, but just practice with each of your colors, getting a dark and moving it in to light. Try to do it where there's no like definite dark, medium, light, lighter, white. You know, just try to get it as smooth as possible, and it might take a little bit of practice to get that down, but just work at that so that you can really master getting that gradient. Another important technique to master while doing color pencils is to know when to use stroke lines and when to eliminate them. So here I'm applying my color pencil with just an up and down motion, and you can see how these lines are all up and down. If I were to change directions and go side to side, you're going to notice that there's a definite difference. Here's up and down, those lines are going side to side. A lot of times you're going to want to create a color pattern that isn't directional, that you don't want these up and downs. And so to accomplish this is you're going to use very small little circles to color with. Very light with pressure, and build your color up. And by using these little circles, it's going to not allow one directional pattern to overwhelm the picture. And it's going to create a nice, even look to your color pencil. Rotating the paper will help you to break that direction. And you can keep on working on this, going slowly. Remember, even if you want to have a burnished look at the end, don't try to get your burnished look right at the very beginning. Otherwise, it's going to have that pattern of a direction. Build your color up slowly. Practice using those small little circles and different directional lines overlapping each other to help get you that nice, smooth appearance. Another important technique is blending your colors together, taking two different colors and creating a brand new color. Now, if you're using Prismacolor color pencils, you're going to know that they come with a ton of colors. And so why would you want to make your own color when they probably already have that color made? Well, by taking two different colors and putting them together, you're going to be adding interest because it's not going to seamlessly blend. So here I have just kind of a dusty rose, and I'm going to go ahead and take a yellow and put a little bit of yellow with this. And as I work that yellow color in there, you're seeing that it's not completely dissolving into one single color. You can see parts that are yellow, parts that are still that dusty rose, parts that are kind of orangey. And you want that. That's going to create life into your drawing. I can go down here with a little bit of blue and work that blue into there. And you see just how much there is to look at. It's just not this kind of purpley blue or just orangey color. It's got a life to it. And when you see it in a big picture from far off, it can just really add something awesome to your drawings and just give it that distinctness. So using all these techniques, you can really see how you can create something that has a lot of value, lots of tone, lots of interest to look into. One more thing I want to talk to you about, you can see I haven't burnished anything because all of my colors would be too powerful to burnish this down. So what do you want to do if you want that nice, smooth, kind of glassy appearance, but you don't want any bolder colors than what you have? Well, there are two options. One, you can use a colorless blender. Prismacolor has this, and what it is just the wax. It has no pigment in it, and you can use it and it will blend. The things you want to watch for is the blending stick doesn't just push the color down, but it does blend, so it's going to pull some of this color over, and you're going to see that it's going to darken a lot of this color up. Let me show you as an example over here. As I go here, you're going to see that it definitely darkens this up, even though this is no color in it. As it pushes that down, it's eliminating all those white spots in there, so it definitely changes the color and darkens things quite a lot. You can also take and pull some of this color up into things, and so it can be a little hard to control. Another thing is you want to make sure that when you use it, it has a little bit of residue. Just take and make sure to wipe that off on a scratch piece of paper before you use it for something else. Otherwise you'll pull that color into that new area and you might not want that smudge. So if you don't want it to erase that white and make it look darker, say I want it to stay close to this color here, but without making this darker, because if I put this on here, it's just going to really darken my drawing up. Another trick you can use is to use just a regular white color pencil. This will actually a little bit kind of make it look a little bit more milky, and so you have to practice with it and just see which one you like the best. For certain things, I love the colorless blender for especially if I'm trying to get a really nice dark. Like if I want to burnish in some really dark patches of blacks and browns, I definitely don't want to put the white with that. I'll use the colorless blender. But if I am wanting to burnish something that's already a very light color, I will use a white color pencil to do that. But again, this takes a little bit of practice because it is going to move some of that color around, and you need to know how to move your colored pencil around so that you're not blending out some highlights that you had in there. So you have a nice little rim light there, and I didn't want to lose that. And I don't want a motion line. I want to keep it nice and smooth. So how to use that without pulling in color. So take some time to practice these out on scratch paper, in sketchbooks, just before you do this technique on your masterpiece. It does take a little bit to get to know your tool, but you're going to find it has a really nice effect. And you will still find that even after you've burnished things, you can still go back in and add a little bit of color on top there if you want to. Add a little bit more distinctness to it, a little bit more detail. You can go back in and burnish that color in. Still layer quite a lot. If you're going to be doing a lot of work on your paper, you want to make sure that you have a paper that can withstand this, so don't use a really kind of a flimsy drawing paper. I would use more of a Bristol or something that has can take a little bit of abuse to it. Over here with the blending stick, you can add color on top of that. It doesn't take it as well as with the white, just because there's such a thick layer of wax on there, but you can do a little bit of work with that and add some more tone and color into that. If you need more information on how I did the shading of the sphere, I actually have a video. First I have a video on how to draw circles, and then I have a whole video on how to shade a kind of sphere or a circle ball shape, and I'll leave the links to those in the description box below so you can check those out. So those are the things to work on. So those are the couple of tips to work on and to kind of get used to and master, because we're going to be using all of these techniques as the lessons progress. How to burnish, how to make kind of fuzzy, how to get a solid patch of color without a line texture, how to get your gradients, and how to overlap and blend multiple colors together to create something really cool. So a couple different tips and tricks for you guys to practice out this week, and we're going to begin building on those as the weeks progress. I'm really super excited to be able to show you all the different things that I know about colored pencil work. So practice those out. If you do practice these out, take a picture of it and send it to me either to my Facebook page or Instagram, and who knows, I might even put it in next week's video for like showing some of you guys is practicing. I think that's encouraging when I see other artists practicing the things I'm learning and seeing what they're do. So if you guys send them to me, I will try to put them in next week's Colored Pencil 101 video. I'll put the links to my different social medias in that description box way down there, so you can check that out. Yay! Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If this is the first time you've joined me for one of my videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button, boom, right there, so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And take a look at some of the videos I have in my video archives. I have a ton of them. So if you enjoyed this drawing video, check those out. I think you might find other things that you like. Speaking of liking, if you like this video, make sure to hit it with a thumbs up. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me, and until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye!